Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today we're discussing about Murat Pak and Sotheby's collaboration with Nifty Gateway. This has been going on since yesterday and it will cease tomorrow. So far they have sold around 20,000 cubes, although it says 14,882 right here, and these cubes are being sold for 3 days for a total of 45 minutes because 15 minutes every single day. So it is an absolute crazy collaboration between Sotheby's. For those who are not familiar, Sotheby's is a man, I butchered that. Sotheby's is a luxury auction house and they do everything from paintings, art, jewelry to real estate and generally very expensive stuff. Hermes bags here for $27,000 for millionaires and billionaires. And you might be wondering, well, what do they have to do with NFTs? They got involved because they saw Christie's was selling Beeple. And some people are going to say Pak is the next Beeple, but that wouldn't be fair to compare the two because they're completely two different artists and their works are really different from one another. But all of Pak's pieces have been going up like crazy, and his latest piece, well, there was a little surprise hidden afterwards. You see, after 15,000 were sold, potentially 20,000 were sold, he had this come out. Digital artist Pak launches new token that can only be obtained by burning NFTs. That's right, for those who have no understanding of what that is, he created a new token called Ash. And here it is. It still hasn't been launched yet, so that's why it says it's inactive, but it can only be obtained after this will cease tomorrow and after all the cubes have been minted. And people will be able to take these cubes and do whatever they want with them. So for example, if you're purchasing 20 cubes, you're going to get special artwork, and here's also limited artwork that you could be eligible to win if you're buying a lot of this. So some people may decide, hey, let me purchase 20 or 50 cubes and get this special NFT over here, while others may decide, you know what, let me burn this art, and burning means it is lost permanently. But as a reward for burning, Pak will reward you in Ash. And the more Ash you get, if it goes up, whatever this will be priced at, let's say it's priced at $1. And yesterday, some people were testing out that a cube gives you 1,000 Ash. Yesterday, it was worth at $500. Today, it's going to be worth $1,000. And people suspect tomorrow it will be $1,500 to purchase another cube. And both of these mechanisms are designed to raise the prices despite having the most amount of units sold ever in an NFT marketplace, because the statistics for this are insane. Obviously, this isn't going to load Pak's yet because his isn't finished, but Faces sold 5,000 units. And Pak has sold 14,000, 15,000, 20,000 within the first day. Maybe the others aren't reported because they've been sold through Sotheby's or something like that. So he might sell 30,000, he might sell 40,000 in total. But since the price is going up, and since he's allowing and actually encouraging people to burn, it's going to become rarer and rarer. Wait, hold on. What's going on? So you might be like me and you might be a little confused, or you have zero idea of what's happening with the NFT world. You've been following that certain pieces have been hyping up like crazy, and suddenly you see something that has sold 20,000 pieces and you're saying to yourself, well, how will this actually be valuable in the future if there's so much of it? Just like me, I haven't purchased Pak's cube and I'm not going to purchase it. But there's a very simple reason for this. I already have 2 NFTs that I'm not going to panic sell and lose out by going into something that has a lot of mints. And we had no idea that this was going to happen with Ash. So now it's too late since the pieces have gone up in value. As a lot of people were suspecting, it would go from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500. But with such huge volumes, but undoubtedly you're going to have hundreds or even thousands of people who are going to panic sell at one point or another because they were making purchases that they can't afford. Now, I did lose money with a few NFTs, but I have most of my portfolio in Bitcoin and BNB, which are rising up right now, and a little bit of Ethereum, so I'm happy with that. It's going to most likely make up for those losses. And I can't afford to potentially make another loss because then it's just, that's bad investing. However, for the people who invested into cubes, awesome, you took a risk and it might be worth it, because if this if this didn't happen otherwise, it would be a little bit weird. How would they retain value? Like, sure, it goes up even to $1,500, but there's pieces that have been selling for $20,000 and they were overpriced. Most of Morat Pak's pieces have been going up in value like crazy right before this collection. So that's why suddenly a lot of people really took their attention to this. Then they saw Sotheby's at auction house. They're thinking Beeple, oh my God, this is going to be another Beeple situation. And then Nifty Gateway took out everything else. And for 3 solid days, it's only Morat Pak. So let me tell you why this is revolutionary and also why you should extend caution to this. For people who have thousands to blow, it's perfectly fine to be investing in whatever you like. And a lot of people wanted to own a POC, myself included. I wanted to own a POC, but everything was out of my range. And even this, I just don't have another $500 that I'm comfortable risking. We didn't know that he was coming out with this platform, but here's what's revolutionary about it. It's basically going to burn people's NFTs. And that includes other artists. You could include Beeple's art. You could include any NFT that you have. I could burn my 2 NFTs. But here's the catch. Only POCs and special whitelisted NFTs are actually going to be valuable at first with Ash. There's going to be some blacklisted. There's going to be stuff in the middle where it's worth something. But from what we know so far, most of the pieces outside of POC and a few of these blue chip artists are going to be worth around 2 Ash. So if an Ash is $1, you're going to get $2 for your NFTs, and it really wouldn't make sense. Even if you suspect Ash will go up, it could. There is a potential for Ash to go up. Let's say it is starting at this arbitrary number of $1 or $10 or whatever it starts at, and it goes up to $20 or $30. Like, that's great. But if you just burned a piece that was worth $100,000, you're not going to make up for it ever. While most of POC's works, for cubes, for example, it's 1,000 Ash, or other stuff might be even worth even more. Now you have to give more incentive to burning pieces and potentially losing out on thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars by hodling onto your pieces, other than just getting a token, because there's thousands of tokens in cryptocurrency. So POC decided to partner up with companies that obviously are recognizable, but a lot of people still wouldn't care so much about that. But they do care about this. They realize that POC is setting himself out to be on the world stage, and he's trying something new, something crazy. First of all, he's doing one of the largest NFT sales ever outside of Beeple's, because he's already surpassed $10 million. Second of all, it's a combination. So you get an NFT piece that gets transformed into another NFT piece, because depending on how many NFT cubes you purchased, you're able to get other NFT pieces that represent, the number that you chose. So for example, if you chose 11 cubes, you get an NFT for 1 cube, and you get another NFT for 10 cubes. And this other 10 NFT cube might be worth more because it's rarer. If you bought 16 cubes, you get 1 NFT that's 10 cubes, 1 NFT that's 5 cubes, and 1 NFT that's 1 cube, and you have 3 NFTs in total. And there's obviously millionaires who are spending over $1 million, and they're purchasing thousands of cubes, and they may decide to play around and burn some of these cubes for Ash. They're going to hodl on to some of these other rare NFTs, and there needs to be incentive for these $1 million collectors, these whales. So PAC came up with this. Just like Ferrari, welcome to luxury world. This is crazy because it changes the luxury future. A lot of people may not recognize this, but this is what Louis Vuitton, this is what Ferrari, this is what Gucci, Moet Hennessy, all of these companies, they want you to feel special. And the only way to make you feel special is to make something so difficult to attain that not even the wealthy can buy into it. Not even money counts at this point. They select you. Ferrari, for example, with their latest LaFerrari, their usual $1 million pieces, you already need to be a Ferrari collector. You can't just suddenly buy your way in. You can be a multi-billionaire, but Ferrari needs to like you. So in order to participate in future POC drops, which are definitely going to be more limited, you need to already own a POC piece. And in particular, you're going to need to own Ash, which could only be attained from burning your NFTs. In some future NFT collections by POC, they will choose to accept only Ash as a medium of exchange. As a permissionless currency, Ash can take a life on its own. Ash is an ERC20 standard token. The more NFTs that are burned, the fewer Ash one will yield. and nobody really knows exactly how it's going to work. But if for a specific NFT piece, you are the first person to burn that, you're going to get more ash than the second person who's going to burn that, then the third and the fourth. And there's going to be this plateau where eventually people aren't going to want to sell for ash anymore, and they're going to hodl on, and the value of these NFT pieces theoretically should go up. Also, there's special limited NFT pieces by POC that even if you have a lot of money, you have to be the first one to get it. You have to hunt a lot. There's little challenges that you have to do. For example, one person is going to win a lucky NFT if they're going to guess the correct number of POC NFT cubes that are sold over these 3 days. So here it says 19,880 units were sold the first day, each worth $500, totaling $9.94 million. Probably Nifty Gateway got 5% of that. Probably Sotheby's also got a good $1 million, $2 million, maybe more, who knows, and more will continue today. But you were probably interested in ash. And here, if we go to Etherscan, we already see that this number, already an NFT piece was burned. And if we go to POC's Twitter account, he said it's active. So burn.ash should be active. And we see that one POC piece was already burned for 1,000 burn ash. So here we go to his Twitter account. Bird has halving. As ash supply increases, it becomes harder to obtain ash by burning, halves every million. Bird favors tokens which generate many times more ash. Every featured token is equal to each other. Every other token is equal to each other. I start with 0 ashes, just like any other users. If token holders decide to spend ashes they obtain for my releases, I can earn ash just like any other users. Yeah, so his latest tweet, obviously he's celebrating another mind that gets it. Get a Murak cube, please. This is exactly why a different open edition mechanism design was important for this drop. To be inclusive without a market flood, to create value for the one who reaches for it. We will all want to validate, not bubble. So here, if we're on the Discord, you have a lot of people who are wondering, well, what exactly is going to happen with ash? How are you going to get ash? How much for certain NFT pieces? Everybody's super excited, but some people are also skeptical, right? Some people are skeptical. That's perfectly fine. I'm one of those who are skeptical. Halving refers to the number of ash that burners receive for adding new transactions. PAC said that halving begins when 1 million ash are created. So currently it's 1,000 ash for 1 cube. So if 1,000 cubes are burned into ashes, then that would create 1 million ashes. Halving begins, then every cube after the halving will be worth 500 ash. So burn sooner than later if you want maximum profit. Folks, correct me if I'm wrong. But we still don't know how much one ash will be worth. Any POC NFT gets 1,000 ash, but there are certain POCs that are obviously going to be worth a whole lot more than cubes. So we still really don't know the full extent of what's going to happen. But the reason this is revolutionary is because it changes the whole NFT marketplace. Here, for the first time ever, we have an NFT drop from a blue chip artist that everybody wants that not only affects his own pieces, but other artists' pieces. You're able to burn any NFT piece you have. There's going to be trash NFTs that are being burnt and probably going to get trash ash, maybe 1 ash or maybe even less from OpenSea, right? From some random creator. And then you're going to have some really valuable pieces that might get burned by accident. And it's going to be a chaos. It's going to be an artistic masterpiece. It's going to be all over the place. But it also makes me skeptical because, sure, there's going to be some people that earn a fair amount of money. There's also going to be a fair amount of people who lose money. But the one who's going to make the most is the artist after all. I think this is a pretty big operation to maximize the amount of profits that are being made. Why is that? As somebody who used to purchase a lot of Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and then I realized it's all crap because I lost so many thousands of dollars and when I was reselling them. Obviously, it's not art, but I realized why I was so sucked into purchasing designer goods and why so many people are really hyped up for this stuff. Every single year, the luxury industry, especially fashion, has a problem. With cars, it's rather easy. You add on new technology, you add something a little bit different, something a little rare, and everybody wants the new car for the new year, right? With iPhones and Samsung and the latest MacBook, you have the same thing. Every single year, there comes a new edition out. But with luxury fashion, what do? You have to recycle stuff from like 20 years ago. You have to come up and make sure that every season you're still igniting this passion from your buyers that, oh my God, the t-shirt that I bought, it's so outdated. I need to buy a new piece, right? So you have this weird thing, a weird phenomenon that happens And it's all based on human psychology. It's based on that need to feel important, all of these insecurities. Just like in the art world, certain pieces are made just to squeeze money out of very rich people. Like Banksy, he's trolling a lot of rich people when he shredded at, I think that was at Sotheby's or whatever, those auctions. He shredded one of his pieces and it actually went up in value. So honestly, I think this is Pac trolling people in a way, because everything he did in this drop was designed to maximize the amount of profit, the amount of cubes that were sold. And sure, he's also helping out the poor, the plebs, because some people will undoubtedly become rich. But there's going to be so many cubes, so many tens of thousands of people are rushing to sell off NFTs, or even some weird psychological factors going on here. On Nifty Gateway, we saw as soon as Ash was announced, some people were purchasing the cheapest NFTs they could get for under $200 just to burn them. You know, I'm not blaming Pac. I think this is crazy great what he came out with. And you also need to be revolutionary in art to really stand out, something that makes everyone want to purchase your piece. And there's going to be obviously a lot of people that today, even though the price of cubes are going up, it's going to be a lot less than yesterday, but people who weren't able to get it yesterday are going to try and get it today and maybe even tomorrow. But here's my advice. Listen, coming someone from a skeptical background, in cryptocurrency, I'm a big fan of cryptocurrency. I'm a big fan of NFTs. I love this stuff. But also, most of us, let's be real, we're not rich. We're not multi-millionaires that are making so much money that we don't care about spending and blowing $50,000. We're not 888 who has 500 NFTs on his account. The way we can become a little bit wealthier is to do your research. And every single time there's a lot of hype, there's always going to be a chance of getting in for a lower price. Now, whether this happens, it's tough to say, but it is possible with so many cubes that on the secondary market, just like with a lot of other pieces, you might be able to get these cubes for less than $500. Sure, the very first wave who's going to be trying to burn their pieces for 1,000 Ash, it might be a little bit difficult. But after the hype dies down, just like with a lot of these pieces, that even the pieces that I have, I wish I waited. I wish I was able to get them on the secondary market, because even you're able to make a little bit of profit, even if it doesn't go up sometimes halfway or fully back to the original price. Since you bought it so cheap, you're able to make a little bit of profit, even with Nifty Gateway's 15% fees. I saw someone bought a Chad Knight for $250 and sold it for $450, which is still way underpriced, and the floor changes from $500 to $300, and the original price was $1,500, right? With Pac, since there's so many of these pieces, it could be like Faces, where it went down below the original price for the first day or two, actually. You had the first wave who profited it, then the second wave lost money and they were panic selling, and then the third wave got it back above the original price and it stayed above. But every so often, there's a pump and then it corrects really drastically where it goes to half of its price. So I think the same thing might happen with cubes. It might do another Faces where it goes down a little bit and then it stays above, or it might go down for a while because we're generally in an NFT silent crash correction, or maybe Bitcoin does its own thing and we hit $100,000 and everything's bullish until it isn't anymore, and then we go into a pretty bad crypto winter for a year or two. Who knows? There's so many different variables that might happen that before you get super excited, sure, $500 isn't that much, but if there's a chance to possibly purchase it on the secondary market for $300, $400, I'd be interested. I would have $200, $300 that I could, potentially invest into another NFT piece, whether it's Pac's Cube or whether it's something else. That's also going to be crazy because every single month, something new comes out. For example, MDJ, Mad Dog Jones, another blue chip artist, created a replication piece. Of course, it's going to sell for $2 million and there's only one of them, but it is going to make more of itself. So every single week you see something new, something crazy, and since it's done with technology, new technology, who knows? We might have self-replicating NFT robots pretty soon. I wanted to report on this because it's super cool. I'm not investing in it myself. I'm done with NFT investments for now because they're definitely not as liquid as other tokens. I'm going to stick with what I know a little bit better. I wish everybody luck with this. again, this isn't a video to, try and offend those who were purchasing Pac or to upset them. I still believe Pac is a crazy good artist. He came out with this idea that made him $10 million. So good on you. Good on the people who are able to resell. But there's also a chance that not everybody's going to be able to resell for good prices. And some, unfortunately, might lose. So that's today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button.